I love Swiss steak. I mean, you take a cheap piece of meat like round steak, pulverize it up a bit, slow cook it in a savory tomato chili sauce, and serve it with mashed potatoes with some of that sauce on top, and you have wonderful comfort food for a cold winter day. Now, when I was growing up, my mom used her home canned chili sauce to make Swiss steak. But unfortunately, I never got that recipe. So in the past, I had used Rustic's wife's recipe, which I have a link here, but it wasn't quite my mom's. Well, last month I was doing inventory down where all my canning supplies are, and I thought, oh, blank space right there, no chili sauce. And then I'm kind of panicking because, okay, I'm making this the weekend of October 5th. There's no tomatoes really left in my garden. Am I going to be able to find any fresh tomatoes? Well, luckily, a local grower, I was able to get their last half bushel of tomatoes. And I decided to try a different recipe. So today I'm going to try canning using Ball's grandma's chili recipe because it includes cinnamon, and I believe my mom's did too. So here's the ingredients. 16 cups chopped cored peeled tomatoes, 6 onions chopped, 6 green bell peppers seeded and chopped, 2 red bell peppers seeded and chopped, 2 cups white vinegar, 1 cup lightly packed brown sugar, 1 clove garlic finely chopped, 1 tablespoon freshly grated or drained bottled horseradish. Now that's optional. I did not use that. 1 tablespoon celery salt, 1 tablespoon mustard seeds, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 teaspoon ground allspice, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon ground mace or nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves. Now, this recipe is made for Waterbath canning, which is great because you don't need any additional equipment then. But it does take quite a bit of prep time to get all the ingredients ready. Now, I love using this KitchenAid food processor. It just makes it so easy. And I have a link below if you're interested. We have a lot of peppers and onions to dice up, so I think it's easier using this. It's my KitchenAid, and this makes a fast job of dicing everything up. Be back when we're done. Here we go. We got them all done really quick. And now we'll do the same with our onions. Now we have it with our onions too. So on to the tomatoes. So we need 16 cups of diced tomatoes for this recipe. And it said it would be about 16 medium tomatoes. These are really small tomatoes. So I'm doing about 25. We'll see if that makes 16 cups. Now I do it a little bit different. I core my tomatoes before I put them in this boiling water. But you can do it after if you want to. Boiling water, dip my tomatoes. And we're only going to do this until the skin starts coming loose, right? Shrivels up a bit. Okay, we're starting to split the skins. And we dip them in the ice water. Over here. Look at that. Comes right off. Put it in there. There's another one. See? That's why I like pouring it ahead of time. You don't have to then X your tomato or anything. Comes right off. We have our cored and skinned tomatoes here. And here is our skins. And we're going to do something special. We're going to make a treat out of these. Oh wait, the treat isn't for us. It's for my chickens. They just love tomatoes. Now, to me, this is the messy part. This is when we're dicing up our tomatoes, and a lot of juice can pour out. So I find the easiest way to do it is put my cutting board in a tray. And then I simply, and I like using a ceramic knife. I think it just makes it easier. See all the juice we got? Okay. Same here. See, you can have kind of a mess. Then as you go, you'll want to just do this occasionally until you get them all cut up. All 16 cups. Well, there are 8 cups of tomatoes. And here is maybe, I don't know, a little over half cup. Darn, I did not have enough tomatoes. Kind of questioning the recipe when it said, 16 medium tomatoes would be enough. Well, I used probably about 23 smaller tomatoes, and that wasn't enough. I ended up using a half a peck, which is a half a bushel of tomatoes to actually get 16 cups. And I'd appreciate it if you click on the like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Okay, now we have in here the 16 cups of tomatoes and the onions and the peppers. And now we're going to add the rest. Okay. We're adding 2 cups white vinegar, 1 cup brown sugar, firmly packed, 1 clove garlic, finely chopped, 1 tablespoon celery salt, 1 tablespoon salt, and 1 tablespoon mustard seed. Now we're going to put it on our burner. So we've got it on a burner, stirring it up. We're going to bring it to a boil. Be back. Okay, we're getting a good boil now. We want to turn it down to a light boil and cook for an hour and a half. Be sure to stir occasionally. Our hour and a half is up. Now we're going to add some additional spices. Here's a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of mace, or you could use nutmeg, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, press in there, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. That's it. Mix it up. Thickening quite a bit, but we're going to give it another half hour, and then we'll jar it up. I did not cook it for the full 30 more minutes. I just did it for 15 minutes. I thought the consistency was just fine. We're going to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. Jars are nice and hot. It's always a good idea when you're putting something hot in, you want hot jars. So that way it doesn't shock the glass and you have breakage. Now it's time to make sure we don't have any air bubbles. We're using our handy dandy bubbler. We want to wipe our rims well because we do not want anything to stand in the way of a seal. Use a fresh spot on my cloth each time. Okay. Now, put our lids in finger tight. Yeah. So as soon as I have this done, I'll be going in the Waterbath canner. Be back. We got all the jars in. I am going to put the lid on again. Okay, you can see it's boiling right away. We wanted to have 1 inch of water above. And now we're going to let it boil for 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, our timer went off. The 20 minutes are up. Top off. I'm going to turn it off and wait 5 or 10 minutes before we pull out our beautiful jars. There they are. And it's about 1:45, so I'm done. In 24 hours, I'll take off the rings, write on Grandma's chili sauce and the date, and then these will go down in my pantry. Now the recipe said it would make 7 pints. It actually made 10 pints, and I thought I did my measurements exact, but maybe I didn't cook down the sauce enough, but I am happy the way it is. Now, I had this much left over, and next day I warmed it back up on the stove, put it in hot jars and canned it. So I had 3 additional pints to my original 7 pints, and all sealed. And I did a taste test while I was cooking it, and it's really good. It's a bit sweet, but yet maybe tangy, and the spices really come through. I think this will be just fantastic. I can't wait until the next time I make Swiss steak in my Instant Pot.